I haven't really been vlogging this week. Sorry, my throat's kind of sore. I still want to film a video for you guys. I've been really excited to do this one. I'm gonna show you guys all of our houseplants. This is all of them behind me right here. As I was going around the house, are you okay? As I was going around the house, like bringing them all in here, I was like, damn, I have a problem. Let me talk a little bit about my plant obsession. Like over the last year or so, I've really gotten into houseplants. It started off as fake plants. So I used to work at Anthropology and I helped out a lot with the visual team. Sam, you have to go. When I lived at home with my parents, I started kind of mimicking the plants that Anthropology would use. So I remember like during the fall, they had all this cotton everywhere and like they put moss down in these, oh, okay. Anyways, such intricate little details like that with plants. And I had never really gone into that before, so I guess that's kind of where it started. It's only been since the beginning of the year that I've been getting real plants. Long story short, I got some more house plants and they've just been growing and growing and growing and I can't stop and I want more. I gotta slow down because I'm running out of places to put them. It's becoming a problem. I like to learn as much as I can about the plants. Just so I can take care of them the best that I can and just make sure that they're thriving, making sure that they're doing great. So that's all the stuff that I'm going to share with you today and some tips on how to keep your house plants really just like doing well. Even if you're a real plant killer, everybody can find a plant that works for them, except Chelsea, if you're watching this, you can't. Just kidding. Anyways, yeah, let's just get started. I'm just gonna grab random plants because we have so many sitting back here. I'm gonna start with this guy. He's one of my favorites and we've had him for a really long time and he's doing great. So I know the scientific names, but I don't always know how to pronounce them. So sorry if you're like a super plant person and I pronounce it wrong. I'm learning and I'm figuring this stuff out. This is called a Fittonia. You can see it has these white veiny things in the leaves. It is so pretty. It's nice and full. And this one's really easy to take care of. Pretty much you just want it to be in low natural light and you want to water it every week or when the soil feels dry to the touch. This one actually tells me pretty well when it needs water. Like the leaves will start getting drippier and then as soon as I water it, it'll just kind of start to perk up again. It's very sensitive, I've noticed. Like if there's one day where it's extremely hot, it'll just, and I feel so bad because it's like I just watered it a couple days ago, but it's just very sensitive like that. But this is a really easy one in my opinion to take care of. Yeah, that's Fittonia. The next one we've had for a while is this guy right here. I'm gonna say one of my favorites for all these plants because they're all my favorites. I love this guy because I love a plant with a good dark leaf. You can see it's very bushy, its leaves are very glossy, and this guy is super easy to take care of too. So it's a coffee plant. I don't know if there's an actual scientific name for a coffee plant. It's a pretty well-known plant and this is, you know, it's just what it's called, a coffee plant. This one needs high natural light and it gets watered every week or when the soil is dry. I keep this one in the kitchen. Actually, we have like a coffee bar with an espresso machine and coffee pot and stuff like that. And so I keep that one there just because it's funny to me. Our kitchen's really well lit, so that's a perfect place for it to get all that good natural light that it needs. So that's that guy. This is a very common house plant right now. This is the Sansevieria, or the snake plant as it's more commonly known. This guy is really easy for beginners too. It's in the succulent family. This one actually needs low and direct light, and it only gets watered every 3 to 4 weeks. During the hot months, I like to spritz the leaves with my spritzer. It's doing really well as well. I just have it in this basket, and this one's really pretty to keep on the floor. That's where I have it, because it's not super tall, but it's tall enough that it just adds a little something. I'm a beginner plant person, and if I'm keeping these alive, I just feel like these are good plants for beginners. But I think especially this one, like I kind of don't pay attention to this one. Like it just sits there and it does its thing and it looks beautiful. This is Taylor's plant. It's the one plant that he picked out because I have the obsession. He likes houseplants as well too, obviously, or else he couldn't live here with me. But This is his baby. He takes care of it and he picked it out and everything. So this one's called a Schefflera. This one needs bright, indirect light and water when the soil is completely dried out. He just said the other day he thinks he has a green thumb because his plant, it's looking so good. It's like hitting me in the face. It's like so full and just like pretty. This one's interesting because the less light it gets, the darker the leaves will turn. You can see these ones on the bottom are a darker green than these ones on the top. They're a little more yellow. This is a beautiful, beautiful plant. And Taylor has never really had a plant of his own before, so I'd say this one is also pretty good for beginners too. This is a plant we've also had for a while. To be honest, this one is not doing too great right now. You can see the leaves are just a little bit bendy and wrinkly, and I've had to snip some of the ends off of it. This is a Dracaena, the Dracaena Warnecki. There's ones that have just dark green leaves on it, and you can kind of tell this one is like a light green and has this kind of white stripe along the edges. This one's really easy to take care of too. It's just I left it in our guest bedroom since we moved in here, and I honestly forgot it was there. I'm so sorry. We never had the blinds open in there. It didn't get any sunlight, so I think that was the problem. So I'm in the process of kind of just reviving it. It's actually not in terrible shape in my opinion, so I really think it just needs more sunlight. So I've just had it out here in the kitchen for the last couple days, making sure it's getting everything it needs and just pampering it because I neglected it for so long. Oh, this pot, I was gonna say, it's from Hobby Lobby. It's one of my favorite pots. I get most of my pots from either this local garden store. I just like terracotta pots. I usually just get them at Hobby Lobby because they're like pots and stuff, and plant stuff is usually almost always 40% off, and I just paint them black, so pretty much all the pots in here are either terracotta or black. He takes medium to low indirect light and then water when the top inch of soil is dry. A relatively easy plant to take care of if you don't neglect it and leave it in a bedroom for 3 weeks with no sunlight. This is my newest plant right here. This is a Pelia, or the Chinese money plant. I also think it's called the pass along plant, the good luck plant, the friendship plant. These are becoming really popular right now, or maybe they have been, but I just feel like I see them everywhere right now. This guy was really hard to get my hands on. I had to snag it up right when my local garden got them in stock. This one's a smaller one. It's gonna grow to be more bushy. You can already see these little tiny leaves coming in down here. You have to let it dry out completely in between watering, and it needs a lot of indirect sunlight. I know like most plants have like the perfect side that you want facing outward, but make sure during the day you're just rotating them so that they're getting even sunlight. I've only had this guy since yesterday. That's why it's called the Chinese money plant, because it has these really beautiful round coin shaped leaves. So that's that guy. Next up is this guy. This is also one of my newer ones. It's a relative of this Pelia money plant right here. This is a Peperomia camerata. It can also be called a Peperomia emerald ripple. It has these emerald green leaves and these ripples in the leaves that is so pretty. It needs bright indirect sunlight, and you water it when the first half of the soil is dry. It's doing really great in my living room, which gets average light. I just love the fullness of this guy, and like I said, I love how dark the leaves are. I don't think there's easier names for these ones. It's just a Peperomia is the basic name for it, but within that, there's so many different kinds. That's that one. We're nearing the end here, so I'm gonna do my two probably biggest plants and two of my favorites. This is a Ficus elastica, also known as the rubber tree plant. I know this is a very popular plant, also very easy to take care of, of course. No, seriously, this is a really good one for plant beginners, and it's beautiful and it's big, so it looks like you know exactly what you're doing even if you don't. This one needs bright indirect light. Watering kind of depends on the season. Right now it's really hot, so I water it probably every other week if it is looking like it needs it. But during the winter months you can really get away with watering this once a month to maybe every couple months. The thing about these ones is they get dusty very easily, so I squirt them with my squirt bottle a lot and just wipe them with a paper towel to keep the leaves looking nice and glossy. It is a little bit bare on the bottom because Sam, he ate off some of the bottom leaves, so that's why the bottom looks a little bit sparse. All the plants that I know to be toxic to pets, I keep out of Sam's reach completely. I've done a lot of research on this and it doesn't seem like they're toxic. It kind of just upsets their stomach mildly. Something to notice about these is they have these yellow pores along the outside edges that just look like little tiny dots, and if you didn't know that, then you might think that they are bugs or mites, so that's something to just be aware of with this plant. I love this guy right here. That's the Ficus elastica, or the rubber tree plant. This is my favorite plant that I own. This is the same as the rubber tree plant. This is also a rubber tree plant, but this is the Ficus elastica ruby. It's called ruby because of these awesome red, what would you call that? It looks like camouflage print. Isn't that so cool? I think this one is beautiful. It's the same care as the other one. The same goes for the leaves. They get a little bit dusty, so just making sure you're spritzing them, wiping them, keeping them nice and glossy, and keeping the dust off of them. This one we had a scare with. Like I said, I'm new to plants, so I don't really know about like all the warning signs of bugs and stuff like that. So I noticed that this one had a lot of dust on it, and I had a succulent a few weeks back that I had to get rid of because it had a mite infestation. I showed my mom what I thought was the dust on these leaves, and she said they were mites. There were mites all over, like all the leaves, and I was so sad. I thought I was gonna have to throw it away. I'm scared of bugs, so I was kind of scared to clean it. I didn't know what to do. I'm gonna talk a little bit about mites right now and what to do. I'm gonna set this down because my arm hurts. If you have a plant that has spider mite, it looks like dust particles. They are so small, you can't see them moving, and it's very confusing and very sad. If your plant has mites, it has a chance of surviving. What I did is I took my plant outside to the lawn, I got my hose, and I just sprayed it down really well. The mites like to gather right around the stems and right around the seams, so I just squirted it down super well. I got 2 paper towels, held them together, and just rubbed the leaves and made sure I didn't see any more mites. Even if you don't see them in the leaves, they can still be in the soil. That's where a treatment comes into play. So I just got a bug and mite spray. I'm not sure what the brand is, but you could literally just Google it or go to Lowe's or go to your local garden store and find anything that includes the word mites or spider mites in it. That's what you want. I sprayed the soil with the treatment, and I sprayed every leaf, and I let it sit outside to dry. If your plant that has mites on it has come in contact with any of your other plants, you need to do the same to the other plant even if you don't see mites on it. Luckily, this plant had not been in contact with any other plants. It was isolated. You can still do a treatment on your other houseplants just to be sure that there's no mites, and you want to continue to do that treatment every couple months afterwards to make sure they don't come back. My Ficus elastica ruby is looking great. There's no more mites on it from what I can see, and it's still perfectly healthy. The biggest thing I would say is don't stress out if that happens, because mites are very common. I talked to my mom a lot about them, and I was freaking out on the phone with her. I was really sad. I thought I was going to have to get rid of this plant. It sounds stupid, but you become connected to your plants. I had a bond with this plant. It's my favorite of all my houseplants. So I was pretty devastated when I thought I was going to have to get rid of it. Don't stress out over it. Just get the things that you need, get a treatment, and don't let them ruin your life. Now I'm just going to show all the things that I use to take care of my plants, all the tools and supplies that I use. Like I said, I get all my pots at either Hobby Lobby or my local garden store. I just have this basic little watering can from Lowe's. This was probably I don't know, $3 or $4. You want one that has a long spout, especially if you're going to use tap water. You're not risking any discoloration from water getting on your leaves. I've heard that can happen. I don't know if it's a myth, but to me it's kind of better safe than sorry. Inside all of my plants, I have a drainage system. I water them at different times. They're all kind of on a different watering schedule. So I usually just take them out of the pot and put them in the sink to water them to make sure that they're draining really well. I have a little plastic, what are these called? A saucer. Some of my plants have cork, some of them have plastic, it doesn't really matter. That's just a protective thing because my terracotta pots are the ones that still have holes in the bottom. If yours don't have holes in the bottom, you can skip doing this so that when I put it back in here and I put it on my coffee table or my kitchen counter, there's not excess water leaking through the bottom. Next, I have this water mister I got from my local garden center. You can also get these online. I'm sure Amazon has them. I know Terrain sells them, but they're like wicked expensive. It gives just the finest mist. I like to mist my houseplants every few days or so. It's actually something my mom told me, the ones that can get really dusty really easily. It just helps to keep them shiny and keep them the most beautiful that they can be. Next, I have my gardening gloves. These are pretty basic. I got these at Target. They're Smith & Hawken brand, and I think they're on sale online right now. They're really basic. I don't really know what to say about them. This is what it looks like. It's good to have gardening gloves in case you're repotting, like with the mites, taking care of that. Just basic handling of the plant if you don't want to get dirty. These are just a good thing to have around. Lastly, I have a pair of scissors specifically dedicated to my plants. I got these from Target in the office section. I don't think you need specific like pruning shears or anything like that. Like I said, I'm new to this, so maybe you do, and I'm killing my plants by doing this. I think you just need really sharp scissors if you're gonna be, you know, pruning your plant or cutting parts off for propagation. You just want to make sure they're very sharp because any damage done to the stem of the plant can really damage your entire plant. Make sure it's a clean cut. That's always going to be the best option. So I don't really use these that often unless I have to cut off some dead leaves or something like that. That's that. Next, I want to show you guys that I actually label my plants. This is for my own education, but also Taylor doesn't really know the specific needs that they have. So it's really easy if someone else is taking care of your plants, or just to remember how to care for it so you're not on Google all the time. This is really good if you don't have your plants potted into a pot and you just have it sitting in one. I just bought these labels and I write on here the name of the plant. I have a little sunlight thing for how much light it gets, and then a water droplet for how much water. That way, if I ever forget, I can just pull it out. This is so helpful. I don't know if I'm the first person to come up with this. I know I didn't see this anywhere. I thought of this on my own. Not to say I'm the first one to ever do this, but this is a system that really helps me, and I have all my plants labeled with it. That's also where I'll keep the scientific name, and then parentheses I'll put the common name for it. But that's the part that's just for my own education. I like to know the scientific names of the plants as well, because I like sound smart and stuff, and then I just feel like I know everything about the plant, which is my goal, to make sure they're really well taken care of. I gotta wrap this video up because my camera's overheating. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've been wanting to do this for a long time and just show off all my babies. If you guys have any questions, I'm definitely not a plant expert, but I can try to answer them as best as I can, so make sure you leave those in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. I have so many interests, so if you're interested in plants, in makeup, in fashion, in just life in general, please subscribe to my channel. It would mean so much to me. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.